a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
From the RowPaint.com studio.
Local sports talk with Prater and the Ball Game. Every weekday at 3.
1350 AM, KTIK, Nampa, Boise. And on 95.3 FM, Sports Radio The Ticket.
A Cumulus media station.
Get in, sit down, and hang on.
It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down.
This is Idaho Sports Talk with Prater and the Ball Game.
It's about to get crazy. It's gonna be loud. This is our home. We do what we wanna. We'll blow the roof off. Everybody's coming. It's about to get crazy.
On Sports Radio 95.3 FM and 1350 AM, The Ticket.
Crazy.
Hour number 2, it's Prater and the Ball Game, Idaho Sports Talk right here, KTIK. The Ticket live from Circa Resort and Casino. What a fabulous destination for this year's Mountain West Conference Media Days. Plenty of stuff coming up, including Gloria Navarez, the Mountain West Commissioner, will join us next. But first, for our Blind Appeal College Football Hour, let's do a special edition of our Bronco Nation News Report with BJ Rains, he's a man among boys at places like this. He's got this massive setup, Prater, his Bronco Nation News table, and we'll obviously talk some stuff about you in BNN a little later. But wow, what a little setup here for BJ Rains,
Yeah, fired up, and I don't know if my microphone's working, but
you're good.
I can hear it, so maybe somebody else can.
I think we have
some fun toys. I thought you had the fancier equipment around here.
All right, yeah. I cannot hear Prater. I hope that everything's okay there, but
I cannot hear Prater.
Anyway,
Can I now hear Prater?
I hear you great now, Prater. You know, sometimes there's technical difficulties at situations like this. Nobody's perfect, but I will say this is not our equipment. This is BNN's equipment, so I can blame BJ on that one.
That's a cheap shot.
BJ, he's hiring the whole world to come work for him. Maybe next year he'll hire his own personal tech. That'll be awesome. That's coming. But no, Prater, BJ Rains down here, Boise State. Boise State, okay. Yeah, how we doing?
You're on.
Yeah, I don't hear myself anymore. He just unplugged me. So,
sorry.
He's trying for our radio audience. I mean, this is a big apology.
Okay.
Yeah. For our radio audience, apologies, Prater. What a.
Can you hear me now?
I don't hear BJ. I think something's wrong with one of his things. So,
you don't hear me. You don't hear me?
No, I don't, man.
Well, maybe
Let's just keep it going anyway. Okay. BJ, BNN Report, Mountain West Media Days. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing fine. But if I'm not here, if you don't hear me, then I may not be on. So maybe just share the mic, he says. You have to share your mic. Put Prater's mic in this.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I'll take my first L of the 2 days here. This was working perfectly 5 minutes ago. I don't know what happened, but no, it's fun to be down here for Media Days. Excited. We'll have to figure out what I just screwed up, and I apologize for that. But no, it's going great, and been a lot of great coverage so far.
We want to talk about Andy Avalos. We want to talk about what us three want to talk to Andy Avalos about tomorrow. He will be here, as all the coaches were. We did the players today, and the coaches, of course, kind of a little bigger show, more glitzy, more glamorous when they show up. I'm going to start off right now. What I want to talk with Andy Avalos about, BJ, tomorrow, where the leadership is on this team. There's a lot of young players in key positions, obviously with the defense, especially. We don't know outside of DJ Schramm and Dimitri where some of the leadership will be there. But, it feels like when we talk to these guys, Riley Smith said on our show today that this is the closest knit team he's been a part of. here at Boise State, the tightest group he's had. So I want Andy Avalos maybe to expand a little bit, maybe where that comes from.
And Phil Steele told you guys that too, right? That Andy Avalos said this was the closest team he's had. So, I think that should be an interesting one. For me, I mean, I was thinking about this, guys. I don't know if I think you guys had him on at the softball game or maybe once or twice. Well, I don't think like he's done a regular press conference since the spring game. I don't know if Andy Avalos has talked since the spring game. So there's just a lot of like beat writer, nuts and bolts type stuff with the roster, injuries, things like that. We want to ask him about position changes, if there's any of that happening. You know, the big flavor last year at media days was, Isaiah Banyas moving to linebacker. And then 2 weeks later, DJ Schramm, beat him out. So, nothing like super whatever. I just want to know, like, did anybody else leave the team? What, is there any position changes, scheme changes, 3-4, 4-3, like just the basic stuff? Because we haven't talked to Andy Avalos in about 4 months.
That's an interesting point you make, BJ, about him not talking that long. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else there is, Prater. What's going through your head? Andy Avalos, we're going to see him here tomorrow.
I always like to use these moments to get the roster maintenance, and we know a couple of players are gone. Ty Tanner, the linebacker out of Rocky Mountain, is no longer on the team. He's been removed from the roster as we suspected. Cord Kringlin, the offensive lineman, who I thought was going to be a pretty important part of the Plan B or Plan C rotation on a deep offensive line. So he's gone as well, the kid out of Colorado. So find out if anybody else is gone with this football team. This is where you always learn. 1 or 2 guys have joined the team. 1 or 2 guys have left the team. More importantly for me, though, is I want to, and I'm curious as to what you would say about this, BJ, the vibe. The first time, and you're right, we haven't talked to him for a long time. And this has happened twice in his 2 years here. It's the first time he shows up and he's all about brotherhood and love and culture. Last year, I thought he was more businesslike and a lot more serious. So my and sometimes I put way, way, way too much thought into this, but it's just, how is he going to show up? What's his vibe going to be like? What's his mood going to be like? And I look into stuff like that. So maybe roster maintenance, which is black and white stuff, and just the vibe and the mood that Andy Avalos brings to the table, BJ.
And I would say year 3 too. I mean, you guys talk about this, but like everybody remembers when they were 2-2 last year, where they were and what ended up happening with the rest of the season. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if pressure is the right word, but like we talk about this early season schedule too, and all of a sudden, like, I mean, they could be 1-4, right? They're probably not going to be, but they could be 1-4.
It's in play,
and I think some fans like would you could still say the team's like not terrible if they're one. Like they could still finish. There's a scenario where they could finish, 10-4, win the league still. Like, is this schedule so hard? So like, but I think some people like, realize 1-4 is on the table, but if they're 1-4, like people are going to be saying Andy Avalos should be fired. Like, I mean, it's the way it is. And so it's a brutal start to the schedule. I'm curious what he's willing to say about that and the schedule and the first month and how you approach that. Because let's be honest, the first month's going to define the rest of the season. I mean, Mountain West Championship withstanding. I mean, if they want to do anything nationally, they can't go lose to all 3 of their, big road non-conference games or the UCF game as well. So, I guess I just want to know, is anything new? Are you running practice any differently this year? Are you doing anything else differently? We obviously know a lot about the new coaches. Obviously, last year ended up being a step up, but, how much did Dirk Cutter / Taylon Green kind of save things last year, and what should we expect this year? I'm just curious. Year 1 to year 2, you make some changes. Now year 2 to year 3, I think you fans, everybody really expect a big step forward with this program. And as I said, the schedule is not really maybe going to allow for that to happen. But I think this is a big year, and just kind of where's his mindset and his mental approach going into the season?
Last season began unlike most in the history of this program. I mean, they were in the depths of despair, guys, following that UTEP game. Prater and I did the post-game show that night, and, I had not heard this fan base say some of those things they were calling in. They had it with this program and that quarterback and that offensive coordinator. Andy Avalos, in a lot of respects, saved the season. I mean, he did, calling Dirk Cutter, making that move, and they didn't lose a game outside of the BYU game until the Mountain West Conference Championship game. Yeah. So I want to know kind of where Andy Avalos is. Like this year, it feels like, guys, like he doesn't get a hall pass anymore. Yeah. Year 3, if there's underachieving moments, the UTEP crap can't happen. If it does, in fact, happen again, and they have one of those disgusting losses, the fan base, no one's going to be forgiving anymore. They know he was an all-conference backer here. They loved him here. He's a member of the Brotherhood, and he came back to save the program or keep it going. And if it doesn't go, you know how the standards are here. If the standard isn't met, then it's going to be a really tough season, I think, for Coach Avalos. So I don't know how I'm going to ask him how he's going to respond to that. You know, Andy, I mean, he is Stonewall Jackson when you get him here. But, we'll see what he has to say on that and the tough non-con. And it's not going away. They got a tough one next year as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I know Jeremiah Dickey will be here tomorrow as well, and all the other coaches. And I'm kind of curious, too, in talking to, like, some of the other coaches. Mystique's not the right word, but I always think of mystique because that's what Rocky Long said when he was talking about Boise State. And, they lost the championship game at home again last year. And you look at the home record. Anybody off the top of their head know Andy Avalos' home record?
I think it's 8-5.
8-5. Andy Avalos is 8-5 at home
on the blue
in 2 years. I just think that like it's kind of like the mystique, whatever you want to call it, like at least right now is gone. And I think last year that was the talk. They got to bring it back, and it didn't happen again. They lost a couple more, including the championship game. So I think that that's a topic for me too, and maybe for some of the other teams. I don't think they are as fazed or as daunted coming into Albertson Stadium as they used to be. And is that the case? And why is that? And I think we'll see.
What's your thought on that, Prater?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, you guys are spot on. And I already hear, and we talked about this on Idaho Sports Talk last week in terms of, I did a soapbox to somebody. One of my friends thought Andy Avalos should be fired, which is a ridiculous notion. He's and then I think it was Dennis Dodd that came out where he ranked all of his 130 coaches in the hot seat, and he had Andy Avalos somewhere in the middle, which is probably where he should be, just kind of sitting there in the middle doing. Yeah. This is a year. I like the way you put it. The honeymoon is over. This is a make or break year. If he may not be 1-4, but he might be 2-3, and I'd be shocked if he's 3-2. To be honest with you, it's that kind of a rugged season. So we'll see how I wouldn't be shocked if they were 3-2. That's a little too strong, but I think maybe 2-3 seems like it's more realistic. Here's my two specific questions, and I want you guys to answer. What percentage of a chance do I have of Andy Avalos asking these questions? We're all very curious as to how Genty and Holani are going to be played, and whether we really are going to see two dynamic running backs stay healthy and be used all year long, and the Taylon Green throwing the ball down the field. The stretching of this offense and going vertical and taking advantage of that and taking advantage of Bush Hampton. We've all heard that Kellen Moore was hired by the Chargers to make sure that Justin Herbert throws the ball down the field more to take advantage of Justin Herbert. Everybody here says Taylon Green's better passer. It's supposed to be a big emphasis. Are they indeed going to try to throw the ball deeper? What are your chances? I mean, you don't have to answer that question, BJ, but do you think Andy Avalos will touch on that answer?
Yeah. I mean, how do you think Andy Avalos is going to handle stuff like that tomorrow, BJ?
I think that the whole Bush Hampton offense, Taylon Green, is one of the bigger storylines of the season, obviously. How are they going to use him? And that's one of the things I'm more curious about is how much has Taylon Green improved as a passer? Yeah. Everyone keeps talking about the running game and how much you're going to run him. Well, he had some receivers kind of save him with some great catches last year. I think his, still needs to be, improved a little bit as a passer. So, it's certainly a fair question to ask whether or not he's going to answer in terms of that kind of thing. We'll find out tomorrow.
Gloria Navarro is coming up here on Idaho Sports Talk. Before we move to that, I just got to say, I'm sitting here in the middle for our viewing audience between two good-looking men wearing their blazers today, ready to go, and BJ, you did it. You made the news. If people haven't read on Twitter, I'll break it for our radio audience. Michael Forrest Prater, Mike Prater, has now joined Bronco Nation News in a different capacity. You won't just see him every Thursday in the morning, Prater. BJ, they're going to get to read him.
Yeah, very excited. We hired Mike. We made it official this morning, and then super pumped, Mike, to have you on board. And I think you said 45 years in the newspaper business, and finally decided to switch over and go online only. And we're very excited to have you. And it'll be once a week, maybe twice a week. We'll see what happens, but very excited about it. Learned a ton. I know we always joke about it, but when I first moved to the market here, neither one of us could stand each other. And but it was an admiration thing for me. I really admired the way that he did things and his staff did things, and I was certainly what I was striving to do. And I think that his voice and opinion, some love him, some hate him, but they're going to read Mike Prater.
Yeah, he set the standard, I think, and he's not going to agree with all this because we're saying nice things about it, but he did. He kind of set the standard, I think, for sports media, at least this new wave, generational. I mean, I grew up, BJ, I was living in Caldwell, playing video games, doing nothing with my life, listening to Mike Prater every day and reading the stuff that he was putting together and the team he put together, and now it's seeing this come together. Prater, I want 2 columns a week, by the way, man. I want 2. Let's work harder.
Well, it's already affected BJ's budget. Now that he's paying me, he's already down to 2 working microphones. So we need to work on that a little bit, but we'll figure it out. Today's a completely crazy, chaotic day, and today is the perfect example of the new wave of journalism that I'm very proud to be a part of, and I'm very humbled that you asked me, and we've been talking about this, and this is kind of a dream come true for me as we move forward in a new age of journalism. And, I said it in the column this morning, and you guys can find it at BroncoNationNews.com, that I'm not happy. I am not happy with the direction of newspapers in the Treasure Valley. They've lost their passion. They've lost their relevance. And they don't cover Boise State athletics the way they have. I promise you that BJ Rains and myself and you and Jay and Jordan, and nicely done getting Jordan as well as your first full-time employee. We're going to be the preeminent news organization team in this valley, covering Boise State football, Boise State basketball. And BJ, your mission and your dream goes way beyond that. You're covering all 16, 17, 18 teams over there, the men, the women, the staff, the support, and everything about it. So I'm more than honored and more than blessed. And I wrote a column last night. BJ's making me write a column tonight. I got to write a column tomorrow.
I was trying to get Prater to go out tonight. He's like, I got to work.
You guys want 2 a week. How about 3 in 36 hours when I'm in Vegas at the world's greatest gambling and hotel casino in the world?
Greatest sports book ever.
So,
yes.
I've already been kicked out of 1 hotel room today. I trashed 1 and got kicked out. We're down to 2 microphones. So the BNN experiment is going well. It's perfect for Prater, and thanks, guys. And sorry, I referred to myself in third person.
Yeah, that happens daily around here. I love it, Prater.
I appreciate you guys. It's been a fun partnership. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, that's our BNN report during our Blind Appeal College Football Hour. By the way, subscribe to Bronco Nation News. If that's not reason enough, then I certainly don't know what is. Go to BroncoNationNews.com. Gloria Navarez, Mountain West Commissioner, live with Prater in the ball game. When we come back, don't miss this. Idaho Sports Talk, KTIK.